All right, I am back. So let's start looking at stuff. All right, so we got DEF CON up first. Let's see if I can open this link up. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Copy image, please. Hooray. Wow, it's really high res. All right. What is that madness? I heard things. Hey, thanks for that follow. Mr. Simon there. Okay. This looks cool. So I think variety-wise, the trees in the back are all very samey. And maybe like more like lower ground breakup would help. Let's see if you were asking anything particular though. This is my final shot for the scene until I got feedback. There's some shots I will try to redo because the water doesn't look really good. So I think in general, the water looks all right. I think more of the detail is lacking on the lower terrain itself. Like I was saying earlier, like down here, you want stuff all around here. I'm just gonna let's see here. So like details around the rocks, grass, other rocks. The water will probably look fine if you have more like rock breakup along the edge, just to show interaction. So in some shots you said it looks strange. Let's see what else we got going on here. So, no. Why? So like in this shot, for example, like you really were focusing, I think, on the bridge and the water and the rocks around it, when like you still have, like this is a block out with some bevels is what it feels like. And getting detail around like where this transitions, like that should feel more natural in shape. And like why it's all sand throughout here is very odd to me. Like I want to see grass, I guess, where I expect to see, or where expect to see. Let me think how to say this. Having grass where it would grow. Like there's no reason for it to all be sand down here, right? Unless the water gets up this high rather often. It's like if the water rises and whatnot. And then the amount of grass you have like is very, very low. Basically you could scatter grass like all along the edges here, like just throughout. There could be grass everywhere. And the wood material here, just based off of everything being near this water, like there'd probably be some more greener elements on there, kind of similar to the rocks down here. Let's see here. This shot, let me, didn't copy. Come on. So this shot looks pretty interesting. Again, your grass is crazy in scale. Like I'm not sure, like the weakest thing I think now that I'm looking at all the shots is the grass. Like that's the one thing you should probably focus on. And then figuring out where it goes, getting the scale right, and using that to your advantage to like build paths for walking. Right? So like going down there and then going over here. Like that edge, there's an edge here. Filling this all with grass, and like having the grass become shorter as it gets near the edge because of all of the foot traffic, the grass is just not gonna be as tall. Some of the shots are really strong though. If it'll copy. No? Why is it not copy? Sometimes it copies, sometimes it doesn't. That's so weird. See, it's still pasting the one I was looking at before. There we go. So I think even here, so this is probably the weirdness you're talking about, where it's getting really warpy. I mean, I would just try and tone down the warpiness of it, and you're probably going to be fine. The Jurassic era, nice. Yeah, I could. Yeah, I mean this grass here is almost in line with the scale, but it's, like I expect it to be much smaller. Like if I were to take this grass here, and then I'll just dupe it, and we won't worry about the skewing or anything. I would expect your grass to be more along like this size, right? So good, dude. Look at this. The skills. Oh man. So good. Terrible. Yeah. Getting small amounts of grass like that is probably more realistic. Just scattering it around and kind of trying to fill the space out. I really like this area right here. But remember when your rocks are getting hit by the water, how like saturated they're going to get. Aha. Bumby. There is a reimporter tool they have. It's like a reimport manager. Maybe asset manager? Substance asset manager. See if that helps you at all. I don't know if that's... Or dependency manager. Look into that as well. But yeah, I think where you're suffering the most right now is the foliage. And like the scale and logics of where the foliage shows up. Like in this sand, there's like rocks, right? But none of them are like dark like this. Like that'd be nice if you had some smaller rocks like that. Oh yeah, I got it all. It's its own. Like see that stuff? Oh, I love it. Those little tiny details, so useful. In 3D or texture, it can be both. I mean, it's like if it's for your portfolio, I mean, it doesn't really matter all that much, man. Just make it look good. I would do it. Maybe. Yeah, I'd probably do both. Like I would still have this material, and then I have a material that has this color of stone in it as well, and then paint between the two, so that you can paint them where they come in and where they're not present. And then when you need to, you add some modeled ones in to break those up as well. Javi, what's up, man? How you doing? Yeah, the trees also feel very odd. I mean, these types of leaves or pine can be pretty difficult to make because they mip so easily and melt together. And then it ends up looking like simple shapes. Yes. Anywho, the one last thing I would say on this is, so when looking at the normals on your trees, see if you can volumize them. I forget what the term is called for volumizing your foliage. Spherical, it's like spherical normal stealing. Bumby's in chat, he might know so like if you had like a bush, you could take like a blobby shape that kind of fits the same shape as the bush, and then take the normal directions from that and hijack the normal directions of the bush leaves to match that trajectory, transferring normals from a sphere. Thanks. It's like my brain's like, it's got to be more technical than that. Let's see what else is going on in here. Spherize? Maybe. Like one thing I've seen some people do is you have a tree with clumps of branches and stuff, right? And then you take spheres or blobs kind of matched to the tree, and then you'd bring it into ZBrush, dynamesh it all together so it's more of like a volume that matches the tree shape. Maybe soften it up with some smoothing a little bit, and then bring that back over and bake that down. Bake that over to your normals, your vertex normals. All right. This is pretty cool. There's some interesting shapes in here. I'm sorry, I'm gonna like skip through this stuff just to like look at the elements. So you've got some particles and some stuff floating around. That's great. Getting that motion in is really good. You even have the trees are swaying. Yeah, hopefully that was helpful, Defcon. Normal Thief, yes. For 3ds Max, the script Normal Thief is one of the ways to do it. Oh my god, is that an animal? The animation's a little wonky, but I mean, the fact that you went for it is pretty cool. Oh, the text on the rock. So see, these details are really impressive. And you don't see any of that in your renders. At least I don't think you do. Yeah, it doesn't really come across as you're seeing it. The lighting is pretty strong. I think your leaves could be a little less rough so that they're being affected by the lighting around them a little bit more. To have like some sheen to them, or a little bit more reflective. You know, like leaves tend to look like some can look a little waxy, and some can almost look like they're wet, even if they're dry leaves. This is cool. I mean, in general, this is all really cool. Oh man, material breakdowns and stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of details going on. I think a lot of your details are really close to the surface, which is kind of breaking the illusion or the amount of detail that you're pushing. If some of those leaves were to come up further from the ground, I think it would be stronger. Oh man, that transformation though, right? Like you see how much height you're getting off of these plants early on. This was a very good move as well to elevate the focal point. as a compositionally, you can see you like thinking it, thinking through it and it becoming its own. Super interesting with the statue being like on a tree. Oh man, still yachting, man. What the heck? So the lighting is pretty interesting. It does flatten out a lot in the middle area here, so it's hard to tell that like this is elevated and this is like this is the side of that elevation. Maybe if this was all full of water and then the steps just go into the water. I don't know. In general, though, it looks pretty cool. It's just breaking up that edge more. I hope no one cuts that tree. Yeah, that would probably be bad. Yeah, it's interesting because the lighting where it's at is lighting stuff, but at the same time, everything feels a little bit in shadow. I wonder if there's... I'll just do this. We do that. You can see how everything is kind of... When I go black and white, then you can kind of see where the values are all sitting at. This is how I just kind of play around with stuff and see what happens. So I think where your highlights are happening is not as bright as they could be. You gotta be careful up here as like I'm blowing it out a little bit. But the intention is to lower the brightness. Tobias, what's up, man? How you doing? It's pretty cool though. The other thing you could look at too is like maybe lowering the... So if you do this, and we add a mask, invert the mask, so like it's just black, and then wherever we paint white, maybe I'm thinking about this wrong. There we go. Where we paint white, it becomes darker. So you're missing like the shading because everything is technically in shadow. Maybe lower that a little bit. That way you just know that this is the side. But in general, it's really interesting. It's cool looking. Let's see what else is going on. So Bagner, who just finished his mentorship, is taking part in the Empire Challenge. Look at that. So the only thing I would say is the slats in the back behind the fence. The gaps in between them I think are much thinner compared to the fence itself. The only other thing I would say is like taking these boards and tilting some of them a little bit more forward or backwards so you get a little bit of a like wobble effect of the fence itself. Like think about if like these nails kind of came out, but they're still nailed down here. So then the top would lean forward just ever so slightly And that would by itself make that piece stick out a little bit more from the rest. And if that happened in a few spots, it could be pretty cool. In general, those looks pretty solid. The breakup on the bottom edge as well is pretty nice and natural. It's not. It doesn't look like it's being done in Substance Painter, so that's pretty cool. All right, Mika. Blog post. This is week 2. Very nice. These details might be a little tight on the edge, with the depth on the inside not being deep enough. I would look into that and just see if that's something that's feeling weird. Profit. I see profit at the end here. Rasmus. Did you post your final stuff yet? I'm curious. Man. I think where this stuff's wearing down as well in the paint here is reflecting that more so in the roughness than anywhere else. Careful with the normal. The apartment. Yes, it's technically, how is it? It's technically done, right? I haven't been looking at the finished channel very much, so I've been very crazy busy. This is looking cool so far, though. I don't really have much to say on it right now, but I like the thought process for your checklist and like what you're thinking about. And you've got some learning going on here. Curious Germany's. That's true. All right, next up we've got Giku Mumu. Almost done with the hair. Dude, it's like a young version of me. It's weird. Yes, my eyebrows were that thin before. No, they weren't. I'm just kidding. That looks cool. I would look into the sideburns and like maybe where they start, and think about the hairline and like how that connects to the face, or how it connects to the head and frames the face. Whoa. Yeah, I like the hair as well. I'm trying to think if there's like a. I guess if it's a kid, it's not gonna really have the. I don't know. Looks cool though. It's very anime. It's very anime. I'm not a character artist, so I'm terrible at this stuff, but the way you're flowing the strands together is pretty cool. Is there green in there, or is that the light? It's interesting. I think what bugs me is more of the eyebrows. The eyebrows are very thin. All right, Tobias. Thanks for stopping by, dude. H. Sam. Working on this project when I have some free time. What's going on here? Oh, I remember this. Oh, nice detail with the wallpaper peeling. Super nice. Oh man, you moved to Unity mid project. I usually say don't do that because like it's painful. I did it because you know whatever. Curious, it is Hunter x Hunter, isn't it? I mean, now that you say that, yeah, his eyebrows are pretty thin. That's why there's that little green in there. Well done. Well done. Oh, look at that variety. So normally in game production, we actually wouldn't even make these that unique. Like we'd probably make a texture that's just tileable and then just UV them. So it's cool that you're taking the time to put that level of attention on it. So with these branches for your foliage stuff, I would make sure that you've got like two relatively long ones because right now they're all pretty similar in length and shape. Just overall like space they take up is very similar. Just kind of going through the stuff. It's really interesting the details that you're deciding to focus on because there's a lot of like micro stories that are happening, like this tape stuff here. I mean, it's all pretty cool. I'd be careful with this one. The shapes on this are very boxy. I mean, obviously, I know it's a box, right? But all the bevels are very same. Like they're all similar in their bevel size. So like it doesn't really feel like the lid is a lid so much as like you just know that the top would probably open. If the top had a larger bevel so that it had like a top to it, so it actually felt like a lid that you would lift open, I think it'd be much clearer. I don't know if that's how it opens though. See, that's the other thing. I don't know how it opens, so I could be completely wrong. With this foliage, I would see if you can get some foliage that nice. That kind of goes, where is it? You've got the low detail foliage. It's to get some stuff that kind of goes up a little further with the leaves, like just to break up this edge here. Anywhere you end up putting those is going to be helpful. I don't have too much to say. Like this is crazy detailed. I don't know if that was needed or not. I guess just make sure you get a screenshot with that handle nice and close to the camera. And I really like this wallpaper. This angle right here is probably the strongest shot. And I think that you're probably burning a lot of time to build this scene here. I would focus on this and you'd have a done piece just with that one. But that's up to you. How am I painting over in the browser? So I'm using this tool called Epic Pen. And it just allows me to, like I can even make it a blackboard so it's just all black. And you can clear it, do this. I can use like straight lines and switch the color. I can scroll here and change the thickness. I can use an eraser, which erases the stroke itself. There's a highlighter. Yeah, it's good. It's good. They have a free option too. Like you don't get all the tools, but there's a free option. That's epic. It's true. That's why they put it in the name. I see what you did there. Death Priest. What is going on with you? Oh, man. That thing is crazy. Wow, what a concept to go off of, huh? That looks super intense. So definitely going with the blocking out of things is probably going to be a best approach. That concept is sick, man. That looks painful to do. I couldn't achieve this one, I don't think. Not first try. Like, I'd have to get better at character art first, I think. But I would bulk up your character, get his legs more in the bent pose that you're looking for, and just go for that pose, right? Hey, no problem, Sam. I know your name's not Sam, but H Sam. Dude, I'm terrible at drawing. But pay attention to, like, see how the legs bent. I would just do that. I would get the pose that he's got going on in the concept. That way you can just work on the scale and the bulkiness of him. And go back and forth between this and 3ds Max to just get these large shapes blocked out and embedded into the character. Because this actually looks like it's in his shoulder. And I'm not even sure what's happening like up here. Like the top part of his back that connects to the back of his head. Man, what a trippy character. I really like this. This gun is sick too. And like he's got some crazy gauntlets and knee pads. Definitely block it out even further. I wouldn't even like these details. Like leave it at that and just make sure you're getting the shapes in that you need. Yeah, that's going to take a lot of planning, I think. A lot of planning. We got 9 minutes. It's looking cool, though. So, Javier, I'm new around here, trying to transition into making some game art for my current 3D job. Pretty new to anything not in Max, so learning little by little. This is my current first project. Oh, hey, cool. A dagger. Yeah, getting these chip marks is going to be probably the harder part of it. But I already see where it's going. It's looking pretty cool. I would just keep going. These straps, the handle, like strap pieces, looks pretty good. Yeah, Fimbok. That concept's pretty cool, huh? With the sinewy like skin and stuff over the top of the metal. It's very Doom Quake feel. This is looking cool though. I would just keep going. Keep it going. Yeah, the obsidian blades. That chisel pattern, man. That chisel pattern. I'm wondering how you would achieve that. You might be able to make that kind of look in Substance Designer, and then get that as like a height map, and then in ZBrush start projecting it onto the blade itself. That might be an easier way to approach it. I don't know. That might be making it more complicated than it needs to be as well. So Philippe, bit more Resident Evil 7 inspired modular stuff, mostly focusing on making everything fit together and look decent. Not really on the composition lighting right now, but yeah. Yeah, the chisel stuff is probably pretty painful to figure out. So this painting feels really high. And you're missing the floorboard edge thing. This song. Not in the mood, man. Not in the mood. Yeah, so you need a floorboard where the wall meets the floor. Maybe a rug here or something like that. Be careful with going too strong with chromatic aberration. It sounded like Silent Hill, didn't it? I don't know what that... No, it wasn't Silent Hill. It's called Millennial by Eric Ekholm. This is the same guy. Anywho, so this is all looking pretty cool. I think connecting the floor to the wall with the floorboard is going to be really interesting and useful and needed. It'll help solve a lot of problems. With this collapsing as much as it is, I expect a lot of like debris and smaller stuff down here. A rug, like we were saying a little bit ago, maybe a little side table. The door frame feels a little narrow. And it's interesting that there's that one window. Like, how much reference are you having with this? Man, I'm skipping around now. I don't like any of this stuff. What's in this playlist? We'll try that. Yeah, so painting's a little high. Doorway seems a little narrow. I think adding a rug, floorboard, and some debris from the ceiling. And then I definitely look at reference to see, like, because things that feel weird to me right now are like this window frame coming down into the floor trim and like, or wall trim, and like how that cuts into it. And if there's one window, maybe there's supposed to be more windows. I don't know. But yeah, I don't have too much else to say on this yet. Where are the lights? Is there a light source somewhere, a chandelier or something? Man, I'm yawning so much. I'm sorry, guys. This one, again, I feel like it's strangely empty, which I'm sure you know. Like, it needs frames, tables, side tables, lamps, couches, maybe dressers with photos all over it. This stairwell, though, is super, super wide for some reason. It feels very odd, and it's very steep. The steepness might be okay, but it is very wide. Very, very wide. Yeah, the glass looks really interesting. Twitching likes it, as I can see here. Oh yeah, people are already commenting on the width of it. Yeah. Pandero. Any crits on what I can do with this would be appreciated. Color and landscape is my main concern. Maybe different ways to present this type of content. So from up high, this looks pretty good. I like the you can see the striations in the rock. I think having a high point contrast would be useful. For example, snow is like one way of doing it. So like snow on the peaks and then kind of trickling down and away from that. Getting that would really help get you some separation and understanding of like where things are at their highest and how things break apart. The other thing I think is the banding that you've got going on in the grass is a little strong. I think if you can soften that out, probably through the colors or however these are being generated, Softening that out is probably going to help a ton. Just because it doesn't really feel all that natural. Over here feels really odd by comparison of this. And I'm not sure why. I guess maybe the unnaturalness of the shapes. Like it's usually pretty odd when there's a little spot like this. I don't know. I'd maybe look at some Google Map imagery to see like how water pools around like high cliff edges and mountainous areas. Like where I'm originally from, man, that whole area is like crazy. Let me see if I can. This is probably gonna be the last one, guys. It's about 10 o'clock. Okay, let's see if we can. Okay, so here's Seattle. This is where I'm from. I grew up over here in the drier area. And then you pass through this mountain range. This mountain range is crazy, as you can see. So if we look at this mountain range, maybe we can find some formations. So if you got some steepness that goes straight into the water, I guess I think maybe what's making yours feel so odd, just gonna drag this into here, is how much even beach to water ratio you have. And then having these little spots. Dude, Rattlesnake Lake. Dude, I've walked around that. That's so weird. Like, these are all hiking trails and stuff. Let's see here. Man, it's all, like, foresty along the edges. So you can see there's not usually much soil generation. Man, that resolution, though. So this area kind of does it. No, it's just Google Maps. You can rotate in Google Maps now. So Google Earth is basically built into it. It's not really very many good examples. Snoqualmie. We can go over here. This is Olympic National Forest. Maybe there'd be. Oh, what's going on here? Yeah, imagery is really high res these days. Dude, look at all these trees that have like broken off and then fallen into the water and then got caught up on the side there. So like paying attention to the edge here and seeing how stuff builds up is what you want to look for when you're looking at like how those shapes kind of are made up along this edge here. Because it's not going to be very even. It'll probably be more like rigid. And then these little pockets it's very strange. Usually this is going to be almost all water anyways. It'd be more along the lines of this. It's crazy. It's crazy. Oh, and I guess while we're looking at this, I can show you how weird farming is in the US. You want to get really weird? Can you imagine how large this is? What is that? Can we measure that? there a measuring tool? There's got to be a measuring tool in here. There is not. Okay. It's like 3. Bottom right, there's definitely not. I mean, there's the 100-meter size thing. Let's see if I can. So it's like 500, 700 meters in diameter. Ah, twitching, you're totally wrong. Like in this area, dude, it's all like food. It's all food, man. The guy just keeps going. George Quincy. Oh, man. Anywho, all right, sorry. Getting lost. I've got to get out of here, guys. Sorry for the people that I could not get to. This song. You guys can enjoy this. I will see you guys later. Have a good rest of the week. Tomorrow is Friday. I'll see you guys on Monday at 8 o'clock as usual. And we will be back in Unity looking at stuff. All right, guys. I will check you later. Peace.